Welcome everyone to the Proline 10 online seminar, the fit for purpose device, so whenever you need it. I'll just give you a few minutes to get yourself comfortable and ready for this afternoon's online seminar. And I also want to thank you for joining us today. Just for those people that are new to the GoToWebinar interface, I'll just, while we're waiting for a few more people to join, I'll just go through how you can navigate the GoToWebinar interface. On the right-hand side, you'll see that I've added a ebook for you to have a look at the new Proline 10 generation of flow meters, so you can get some further information there. We'll also follow up after this online seminar with further information as well, and contact details. Throughout the webinar, if you want to enter or ask any questions as well, we encourage you to do so, and we'll answer them at the end. If you just want to type them in on the right-hand side of your screen there, we'll get to them and answer them individually at the end. And if we don't have time to answer them individually at the end, we'll get back to you after the seminar. You can move also the proportion of the presentation screen and the webcams as well, using the horizontal bar at the top of your screen. So I'll introduce other presenters for today's online seminar. My name is Taylor McCurditch, and I'm the Industry Manager for Mining, Oil and Gas, based in the Sydney office with Endress+Hauser, and I've been with the company for about 3.5 years now. I come from a background of process engineering and operational improvement with a large mining company. And I'll hand over to Gustavo to do his introduction.
Right. Hey everyone, my name is Gustavo Coriolis. I'm the industry manager responsible for the food and beverage market here in Australia. And I've been with Endress+Hauser for nearly 11 years at the moment. Most of this time back in Brazil, where I worked with services and then product management before moving to the industry management role. And yeah, that's it. Luke.
Cheers, Gus. Cheers, Taylor. My name is Luke Turner. I'm the Business Development Manager for Solutions and Projects, so looking after everything on the East Coast. Prior to that, I was Industry Manager for Water and Wastewater, and prior to that, I was Sales Engineer for Water and Wastewater in Queensland. Taylor, I'll hand back to you.
Thanks very much, Luke. So the agenda for today is we're going to talk very briefly around the evolution of flow meters from Endress+Hauser and the different technologies that have come available over the years. Then we'll dive straight into the new Proline 10 platform. We're lucky enough that the new Proline 10 platform covers 2 different measuring technologies, that of electromagnetic flow meters and of Coriolis mass flow meters. So we'll go into the specifics of those. Then we'll give you a few ideas of where these meters would be applied in your process in water, wastewater, food and beverage, mining, oil and gas, chemicals, and power and energy applications. Finally, we'll wrap up with the 5 benefits of the Proline 10 platform, and then we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. So this online seminar is being recorded, so if you do have to leave halfway through or something like that, then you can watch it later, and we'll also send that link at the end of the webinar so you can rewatch it again if you want. So Endress+Hauser Flow, we've been continuously offering different types of technologies and models of electromagnetic flow meters over the last 40 years. So capable of handling lots of different types of fluids such as water, maybe milks, acids, bases, pulps, slurries, with the greatest type of accuracy. In 1977, we had the first flow meter on the market, and then we skip forward to 1983 with an innovative operational matrix. In 1991, we released the first generation of Proline series flow meters, and that has undergone constant development and improvement since the early 90s, with the late 90s coming up with a second generation. In 2012, the third generation, which is where we are today. And the new technology that the third generation of flow meters of the Proline series was released with a web server, heartbeat verification, wireless technology, different communication platforms such as Ethernet IP and Profinet, and also lifecycle management. In 2020, we released the world's first full-bore 0DN meter, which we'll speak about a bit later as well. And finally, in 2021, the release of the Proline 10 transmitter. So innovations such as these have enabled us to align our product portfolio with the needs of you guys, the customers. And you can see that with combined with our engineering and R&D expertise, as well as our skilled, knowledgeable sales network and our production centers in 6 different countries there, you can see on the right-hand side, we've sold more than 2 million electromagnetic flow meters over the years. So now what I want to do is I would like to ask you a question. I would like to ask you, what type of features on a flow meter would make your life easier on site? So I'll give you a minute or two to answer this poll, and then we'll have a look at the results later on as well. So the options, and you can select more than one option as well if it's relevant for your guys' operation. So is Bluetooth connectivity, and then you'd be able to access the flow meter using mobile device, is that important? Is a touch screen important on the display to make it much easier for you to access the menu? How about guided wizards and troubleshooting? Do you always know what to do when going through stepping through the menus of the meter, or do you have to consult the manual? Would a guided wizard inside the display itself be much more beneficial for you? And the fourth option there is around self-verification and monitoring. So if that software was integrated in the device, being able to tell you if there was any issues with the device, or if preventative maintenance was needed to be required or carried out, is that something that would be beneficial for you? And then finally, none of the above. They're not really relevant, any of those other features. So I'll give you a few more seconds while I'm collating the results. Okay, so I think 3/4 of you now have voted, which is good. I might just close that now, and we'll have a look at the results here. Okay, so you can see that 3/4 of you really believe that guided wizards for troubleshooting and commissioning would be very useful, and also integrated self-verification and monitoring software, also useful. 2/3 of you thought that Bluetooth connectivity using a mobile device would really make your life easier in site, and then half of you believe a touch screen on the display would also make your life easier. Well, I have great news for you, everyone, because they're the features that are available on the new Proline 10 device. Just wait for my screen to load. Awesome. So the key elements of the new Proline 10 platform, we've got the transmitter, which has really been upgraded, and those operational possibilities that we spoke about, including the self-verification and monitoring software, the heartbeat technology, the touch screen, the Bluetooth capability, and integration with our Smart Blue app, which we'll talk about and show you a bit later. And then this transmitter has been conjoined with our award-winning Promag sensors, which are very robust in lots of different applications, and also our Promass or Coriolis flow meter sensor. This simplicity, which is really what we're aiming for with the Proline 10 platform, is to ensure that maximum safety, reliability, and also time savings are continuous throughout the product life cycle. Now, just speaking about the transmitter itself, there's lots of different options that we can have with the Proline 10 platform. And this flexibility allows you to choose the features that you prefer compared to what budget you might have for your project. So the most basic of the transmitter comes without a display. There's no write protection, and you can access the transmitter using heart or Modbus RS485. Well, the next step up also comes without a display, but it's a Bluetooth option. So you can operate the device either via our Smart Blue app, which you can download on any mobile tablet or phone. And you can also operate the device with heart and Modbus RS485. And it comes with 2 status LEDs, so you can see if you've got a Bluetooth connection or the device is on. The third option at the top right-hand side has Bluetooth connectivity, 2.4-inch LCD screen, and you can also access the device using the same ways as before, so the Smart Blue app, heart or Modbus RS485. And finally, the fourth option, which gives the most functionality, is a touch screen, which is a 2.4-inch screen. And you can operate the device using the Smart Blue app, display, heart, or Modbus as well. So I spoke about the Bluetooth connectivity, and I just want to give a bit of an overview around what ways you can actually connect with this device. So you can see on the slide here that there's actually heaps of ways that you can connect with the new Proline 10 portfolio. First of all, of course, if you get the higher spec display, is that you can operate locally via the touchscreen. The second one is you can use field care or device care with any computer as an operating tool to access the device, just like you can with the rest of our portfolio. You can use the handheld field expert, so the FXX350 via Bluetooth, such as the Smart Blue app. You can use our tablet as well, the Field Expert SMT70 or the SMT50 via Bluetooth, and that's a one-click connectivity option as well. You can access it through your tablet or mobile phone via Bluetooth as well, using our Smart Blue app, which is free to download. And finally, you can also access via the PLC or control system through heart or Modbus RS485. So lots of different examples and options to connect with the new simple and easy to use Proline 10 portfolio. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through and show you how easy actually the Proline 10 display is to use. So it's an advanced touchscreen, and I'm just going through the menu here and showing you the display as well. And also the auto rotate function. So you can either select to rotate the display from inside there, so it saves you having to move the display in the housing, or you can leave it on an automatic function as I'm doing now, so that the function will automatically display depending on where the meter is installed and the orientation. I spoke about the commissioning wizards as well. So those times where you don't want to have to look through the manual or anything to figure out how you use the device. So if you go into the main menu and just going through the commissioning wizard as an example, it really steps you through what's required in order to commission the device. So it's a few swipes literally to select which type of units you want for which output, what type of variables you want to assign for the totalizer, measuring conditions and current output, display, date and time, and then it's done. That's literally how quick it is to commission this device with the wizard. Now, in the event that there's an error, just in case you just swipe to unlock the display, go into the diagnostics component of the Proline 10, and it'll tell you what is issue with the device. It also tells you the remedy. In this case, the display module had an error, so the replacement display is the fix or the remedy to this problem. So it's much more intuitive and much easier to use now than the older generation of devices. I spoke about heartbeat technology, and some of you might be familiar with the way heartbeat technology works. Gustavo will speak about this a bit later in the seminar. But to access that through the display, you just go into the diagnostics component, and here we're going to perform a verification. So you just select the location and time and everything like that, and then you press start verification. So a few more clicks through the menu, it'll give you a status which is busy. So the device is still measuring at this time, and also a progress number. So once it's reached 100, then the verification is complete and it gives you the result. And the result here is a pass. It gives you a time and date stamp as well. So you can access this information and record it in your system as per ISO 9001. For diagnostics, you can also get some heartbeat monitoring diagnostics and access it through the menu, just like through there. And then that way you can get all your diagnostic messages, etc. And I spoke about the Bluetooth connectivity as well. So you can also operate your device as continuously as you access through the SmartBlue app. So in this example here, where just the device is still operating, but you can go through your login using your secure username and password. And then you can also see the commissioning wizards here, the diagnostics components, just like you would through the menu display. The Bluetooth has a range of up to 20 meters, and the SmartBlue app is available for Android and iOS as well. So all those additional functionalities that come through the display are also available in the SmartBlue app, and it's easy to use. So now I'll hand over to Luke, and he'll talk a bit about the Promag portfolio. Thanks, Luke.
Amazing, thanks Taylor. So Taylor provided a really good explanation of one of what I see as the major benefits of the new Proline 10 series, and that's how easy it is to configure, to commission, to do heartbeat diagnostics reports, to operate on your phone or on the screen itself. But on top of that, we have a number of different benefits that can really help to improve your processes with our new Proline range. So when we talk about the Promag, mag being electromagnetic flow meter, we're talking about 4 different types, and the easiest way to explain it is right here. So we have the P, which is the process mag, so anything with high temperatures or chemicals. The W, which is the water mag, which is the standard mag for water and wastewater applications in compact installations. We have the H, the hygienic mag, which obviously means hygienic food and beverage applications, and then D, which is the only one that doesn't make as much sense as the others, but D is the sandwich mag or the wafer mag for those really tight applications. So I'm going to talk to you about the W, the water mag, and Gustavo is going to move on to the P and the H mag as well. So again, as I mentioned, on top of having that easy to configure capability with the new transmitter, we also have a number of other features. So some of you may have the old Promag 10. The new Promag 10 is a one-to-one replacement plus these additional features. So heartbeat technology, which Gustavo will go on to talk to you about in a second, the LCD screen, which Taylor's spoken about. We have a couple of outputs available here, so Modbus and 4 to 20. If you did want those additional outputs, let's say Ethernet, Profinet, we can do that, but not with the 10. You'd have to move on to the other type of mag instead. Operation via Bluetooth and SmartBlue, we have the different options available. We have integrated conductivity measurement that might be useful in, for example, a reverse osmosis containerized solution where you're looking to see the conductivity before and after the membrane. So rather than having an additional conductivity probe, you can give you that measurement from this mag instead, so that can help with some cost savings. We've got the 0 to the end full bore. I'll explain some more about that. Many of you might have seen me present over the last year and a half about the full bore option. We have this available with the new Promag 10. We have some small EX options and a floating measurement, which means you don't need to use grounding rings. And in some applications, Gustavo is going to talk to you about those in some more detail. So if we look at the Promag W, which is the water mag, so really this will be the standard mag for your compact water and wastewater installations. What I mean by compact, I'm talking skid type applications, desalination skids, RO skids, compact wastewater treatment plants that you often see at some mine sites or some rural communities. This is where we see the Promag W being a very good instrument. So I mentioned it's available with conductivity measurements. You can use that on the outlet and the inlet of your RO membranes, for example. Process connections, we cover all the standard process connections for the water and wastewater industry. Here in Australia, we'd say 90% of the applications for water mags have PN16 table D flanges. Of course, we cover that as standard with this mag, as well as table E and lap joint as well, if you wanted to save some costs. We have the 0DN option, so this would be the second flow meter, full bore flow meter available with for 0DN applications, the prior one being the Promag W400. It's optionally available with IP68, so if you did have a flooded application outside of your containerized application, we can give you that option with the Promag W, and that would be factory potted to avoid any errors on site. Floating measurement, which I've mentioned before, Gustavo will talk to you about. A standard measurement accuracy of plus minus 0.5% of the reading. That's standard for most of our mags. You can go down to 0.2%. We would offer you another type of flow meter for that application instead. Size range, and we cover a massive range here from 1 inch all the way up to 2.4 meters. Again, if you wanted a bigger mag than 2.4 meters, which we'd rarely see in Australia, we of course have an option there as well. Next slide, please, Taylor. So just to give you an idea of the 0DN, many of you may have seen me present this before, but with the 0DN, this is the world's first full bore mag flow meter for completely unrestricted measurements. So that means we can install after bends, after insertion devices, after T-pieces, and still guarantee that 0.5% accuracy. So with the new Proline 10 series, unlike the old Proline 10 series, you have this full bore option, which is a massive advantage for those compact skid installations, which I've spoken to you about before. Liner wise, we can do all your standard liners, polyurethane, hard rubber, most common for water and wastewater. I'd say 95% of the applications are this. We can cover those standard liners with the Promag W10 new series. Next slide, please, Taylor. So the Promag D, so this is a sandwich mag. This is going to save you some costs on the installations, and if you do have a really compact installation where you don't have any space at all, we would offer the Promag D, so the sandwich type mag with 0DN. So you can imagine you can have the tightest applications now and still install a relatively premium mag with sandwich flanges, excuse me, with all of the features of the new transmitter, suitable for metal and plastic pipes, all of the drinking water approvals, and with that guaranteed accuracy of 0.5%. The only thing you are limited to with a sandwich type mag is the size range. So I've mentioned, look, these are designed for your compact skid type installations. We go from 1 inch up to 4 inch, or from 25 mil up to 100 mil. If you did need larger than that, we go back to the W and use the fixed flange type arrangement there. So really some takeaways from the Promag W10 and the Promag D10 is that these are designed for those compact installations with all of the intuitive operating features and 0DN and heartbeat technology. So we've really crammed in a lot of features and benefits into this new flow meter. That's it from me. So Gigi, I'm going to pass back over to you, and you can talk about the P, the H, floating measurement, and the heartbeat.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke. So hey, everyone. So I want to start talking about the Promag P, which is the flow meter that is designed for high temperature or even applications where you have very high, let's say, extremely corrosive media. And usually what we observe in very corrosive media applications, it's that usually the pipe works is made of plastic. You can see this in process applications in the chemical industry, or you can also see this in the food and beverage or even the water or wastewater industry, depending if you're using the mag flow meter to those chemicals. And using plastic flow pipes or using non-conductive pipes usually is it's a really big challenge for mag flow meters in general, because if you don't have the proper grounding of your device, the friction between the material, your product, and the pipes will create some sort of electrostatic charges. And if these electrostatic charges go through the device, it will create a very noisy environment, okay? If you have a very basic grounding, which is if you just ground your device, this can lead to problems because you just have a tiny reference electrode installed in the device. depending on how, let's say, strong or how big this amount of electrostatic charges are, you have a very high current flow going through this reference electrode, and these can lead to what we call to the electrolysis and the complete damage of your device. So one of the resources we have for the Promag P and also for the Promag W is what we call the floating measurement. As you can see on the next slide, we have a new concept that completely isolates the grounding of your device from the grounding of the measurement. So now you're able to measure the flow under these conditions without the need of very, for example, expensive ground discs. And you can really ensure that you won't have any kind of electrochemical corrosion of your reference electrode. So this is really one of the main highlights we have for the Promag P and W. Now, talking a little bit more about the hygienic version, which is in the next slide. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Endress+Hauser has sold more than 500,000 hygienic mag flow meters. And throughout this journey, we have developed and improved the technology of our sensors in a very constant way. So for the new generation of Proline, even though we have a fit-for-purpose instrument, we are also using the same technology, the same sensor technology that we have for high-end devices. So we really want to bring to our customers the same reliability that the high-end flow meters have, also in the fit-for-purpose instrumentation. And we still comply with all the hygienic standards such as EH80G and 3A. And just going a little bit deep into the conductivity measurement, as you can see on the next slide, both the Promag P and the Promag H are now able to measure conductivity, okay, which is a really great benefit, especially for the food and beverage industry, because it can really optimize your product losses. Instead of installing one mag flow meter and one conductivity sensor, you can have both measurements at the same time. If you go to the next slide, please, Taylor. Yep. So you can measure not only the conductivity, but also the temperature and the flow. So you can really, this can be an additional information, so you can really reduce your costs and really save products during phase separation. And we already have some customers who are using the Promag H with conductivity measurement as a safety resource, especially in filling machines. So in addition to the volumetric flow measurement, they use the conductivity as a safety resource in case the conductivity goes way too high or beyond the product specifications. That's a really good indication that you might have some sort of chemical contamination on your process. So this is a really good summary of the new resources we now have for the new Proline 10 generation. On the next slide, we're going to talk about the mass flow meter. As you can see, we have standardized the operation across the mag flow meters and the mass flow meters. So it's really easy. We have the widget, so the commissioning becomes really, really simple. And we have some savings associated with the spare parts. So you can have one spare parts in your stock that can be used across the mag flow meters and the mass flow meters as well. We have some changes in the design, especially of the sensor, to make it the installation with a smaller footprint, which is really great. And one of the highlights we have for the mass flow meter is what we call a gas fraction handler. On the next slide, you can see a comparison. I'm not sure if you have some experience with mass flow metering, you know that air bubbles is really tricky. It's something that if you have some air in trained measurement, it's something that can give you a huge headache. With a gas fraction handler, we're able to create some filters. We have some filters that can make the measurement way stable. So you can see here on the graph on the right, you can see what is the measurement performance with the gas fraction handler on and off. So we can have a very stable and smooth measurement. One question that often comes to us is, hey, does the gas fraction handler compensates the air bubbles? The answer is no. Okay, the gas fraction handler is really it's an algorithm, it's a filter that helps you to smooth the noises generated by bubbles. But if you have air bubbles present in your process, that's something that will increase the measurement error. The only device that we have, the only device available in the market that can measure and compensate the errors caused by air bubbles is the Promass Q, which is also part of our offering. And there we have a different technology that can really identify what is the level of air bubbles and compensate, so you can have a very high and accurate measurement. Okay, yeah, that's a quick summary of the highlight for the Promag P, H, and the Promass Q. I'm just going to give you a quick overview around heartbeat technology. If you attended a couple of webinars last year, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that. But that's an advanced diagnostics concept we have across our offering. So for flow devices, level, pressure, liquid analysis, and it's based on 3 main pillars. So the heartbeat diagnostics, all the messages, all the failures that the device will give to you is based on the Moore NE107. Taylor showed us how it works whenever there's a warning message on the display. So if more than one device in your site gives you a warning failure, what will you do? That's when the Moore NE107 comes to help you, because it categorizes the warning messages and failures based on the priority. So that's really handy, and we already give you all the actions that you have to do to correct that problem. In addition to the diagnostics, we have the verification. So all the devices are able to measure electronic values across several components of the device. So the electronics, the sensor, and we can compare these values to the factory standards. So you can have an idea, for example, what are the components that are wearing out, and if there is any component that needs to be replaced even before the sensor or the component is really damaged. Okay. And last, we have what we call heartbeat monitoring that will give you additional key performance indicators for you to work on a predictive maintenance plan. For example, the mean time between failures. So this is something that the device will record and will continuously update. And this is something that you can use as part of your strategy. If you have very strict, let's say, calibration compliances that you have to follow, you can check the mean time between calibrations, and you can also get information around buildup and corrosion of the sensor. So it's a very sophisticated, let's say, resource we have available in our offering, that is now part of the new Proline 10. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick overview of some of the applications in hygienic industry. So as I said, the Promag H, we have the same sensor technology that we have in the high-end devices as well. So you can use the sensor for all the basic hygienic applications, water monitoring, and even CAP control. Okay. Life sciences, we do have some limitations, especially on the surface roughness. So we don't comply with all the requirements for life sciences, but still the instrument is completely hygienic and follow all hygienic certifications. And for the Promass Q, which is our mass flow meters, all applications where you have very low conductive media or non-conductive at all, such as gases or even fat or oil, these are really some of the key applications where we can really explore the Promass Q within food and beverage, such as carbonization of soft drinks and animal fats and others. Now I'm going to hand it back to Luke, who's going to give us a couple of examples in the water and wastewater industry. We have lost Luke. Yeah, maybe I can talk a little bit more about it.
Sorry, guys, I'm back. Sorry, everyone. I was hiding underneath my desk. Yeah, look, we've been through the examples of the Promag W in water and wastewater. So some of your standard applications where the Promag H would fit in for water and wastewater is those dosing applications. The reason being is that we can get down to those small diameter sizes, 4 mil, 6 mil, 8 mil, which you typically need for these dosing applications. And then if we go back to the D, then the D is that real space saving, cost saving option for your really compact installations as well.
Thanks, Luke. I'll revise some of the applications in mining and other heavy industries as well. So with the Promag W, it's really good as a standard device for industrial water. You can use it for basic process water applications as well, wastewater treatment, pump control, and even cooling water measurement as well, in maybe metallic processes or any mineral processing that you have heat management. With the Promag P, because of its PTFE liner, you can use it for the measurement of corrosive liquids and also precise dosing for those type of corrosive and maybe chemically aggressive liquids. And with the Promass K, which is the Coriolis meter, you can use that for basic applications of acids and bases and other solvents and non-conductive liquids that you can't or is not suitable with the Promag portfolio. And you can also use it for process control for basic chemical dosing applications. For the other heavy industries, such as power and energy, you can use the Promag W for cooling water management, the Promag P for feed water for like steam boilers and also liquid ammonia in gas cleaning systems and emission control. You can use the Promag H as well, where for small dosing to gas cleaning systems and also to dose chemical or corrosion inhibitors into processed water. The Promag D is useful for confined space applications and power and energy applications, and for the Promass K, which is that Coriolis meter again. For chemical applications, you can use it for dosing and also for non-conductive fluids. And for oil and gas, you can use it for refueling, filling and pump control for trucks and rail tanks as well. Process control for liquid hydrocarbons and submetering and distribution. So that brings us towards the end now. We'll recap the 5 benefits with the Proline 10 platform. So that first one, which is saving time with the easy connectivity options that I showed, including the Bluetooth and the Smart Blue app. Saving time when commissioning because of the wizard, the commissioning wizard that steps you through everything that you need to set up for the device. And also for troubleshooting, it shows you exactly how to correct the fault. You benefit of maximizing your plant availability with heartbeat technology that will enable you to implement a preventive maintenance program. Fourth benefit is reducing capital expenditure because you get additional outputs such as conductivity, temperature, density, and of course, as Gustavo mentioned, the floating measurement capability. And finally, the final benefit is around increasing your confidence in your process measurement with technology with the Promass K, such as the gas fraction handler. So thank you everyone for listening to what we've had to say around the Proline 10, but now is the important part. I think now is the time for your questions. So we've got quite a lot of questions coming through at the moment. We're probably not going to get to all of them, but we'll give it a go at the beginning. So again, a final reminder, just type in your questions on the right-hand side and we'll try to get to them now. First question from Zach is there an additional radio transmitter required for Bluetooth? All right, Zach, so those display options that I spoke about towards the beginning of the webinar, as long as you choose the display option that has Bluetooth capability and you have a device that will be able to access Bluetooth, such as your mobile phone, that's all the hardware you need. It's quite easy to connect from the device itself to a mobile device with Bluetooth capability. So there's nothing additional required for that one. Greg asks, can you get the remote display option? Yes, you can. You can get a remote display option. It's available. Greg also asks, how do the flow meters handle buildup? So silica, for example. Might pass that one to Luke. Would you like to comment on how the flow meters handle that type of buildup?
Yeah, look, it's a good question, Greg. Typically, mag flow meters don't like too much build-up. We do have some versions that can handle more build-up than others. For example, we've got a slurry flow meter that we use a lot in the mining industry that can handle that level of build-up. For these Proline 10 series of mags, we generally like to avoid build-up where possible. But and I hate saying it depends, but it does depend on the application and the type of build-up. And I can send you a separate email, Greg, with some more information there.
Awesome, thanks, Luke. Let's see what other questions there are. We've also got a question from Paul around retrofitting a Proline 10 transmitter onto an older Promag meter. Paul, I'm not sure if that's possible. Probably not, but we'll get back to you with a separate email about some those options there with your devices that you have already installed. Khaled has a question around what was the other device that you said that could actually compensate for errors due to air bubbles in the process? I'll hand that over to Gus because he was speaking about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. We have the Promass Q. Promass Q. That's the name of the sensor who's actually has a technology to compensate the presence of air bubbles. So you still have a very high accuracy measurement. And we have a different technology, especially on how the sensor works to do it. The new Proline 10 only has some filters that can really make the measurement more stable. Okay, I can come back to you and give you further details, Khaled, so no worries.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Khaled, he also asks around hazardous area certification. So yeah, the hazardous area certifications will be available shortly on the P. We'll get back to you about the different options for that as well. And there's also a question from Dino around some other communication protocols in the future. No, not at this stage. So the only way to connect at the moment is via HART, via Modbus, or via Bluetooth.
Yeah, just to add to that, Taylor.
Yeah.
So Dino, we've got plenty of mags which do have all of those options available. The whole Proline 10 series, it is a simple flow meter, whether it's a mag flow meter or a Coriolis. So it's designed to cover most of those simple applications. So anything with 4 to 20 Modbus we can do. If you wanted Profinet, Ethernet, we've got a whole series of flow meters that can handle that instead.
Awesome, thanks, Luke. We've only got a couple minutes left, so we'll just maybe go to a few last questions. All right, so Patrick asks about a specific filling application. He says, could the device, the device that shows the amount of liters going through the line, so I'm guessing you're talking about the totalizer. For instance, am I filling a vessel? Can I see how many liters are going into this vessel? I guess is a totalizer. Might hand that one over to Gustavo.
Which one?
Patrick's talking about filling a vessel. Would he be able to see how many liters are going into the vessel, like as a totalizer function?
Yes. So all ENH flow meters, they all have not only the instantaneous flow, so you can see how much flow is going through the device in real time, but all of them also have the totalizer function, so you can play around with both as you want.
Excellent, thank you. And we've got about 45 seconds left or something, so I'll just go one last question here. This one is about the 0DN, so I might give this one to Luke. Is there a limit on the...
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, so Richard's question is about, is there a limit still on the maximum diameter for which OIML R49 approval is available for the 0DN? So Richard, at this stage, the approval is only available for the 400 series. We are limited up to 800 mil at this stage, but we are working with our factory in Europe to get that approval for the larger line sizes as well. So hopefully up to 2.4 meters at some point. But as you can imagine, it's a pretty long process, and yeah, but we are working on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke. And thank you, Gus, as well for joining today's webinar. And thank you, everyone, for listening in. Again, I think there's some questions that we didn't have time for, but we'll answer them separately after this. We'll send you guys an email. And if you could be so kind to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar, which should pop up as well, and type in any topics that you want to see in the future. And then also, if there's any specific applications that you have, you can type in some details and someone will get back to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Bye.
Cheers, Taylor.
Yep.
Cheers, class.
Yeah.
See everyone.